but, in terms of what actually may be coming down, still remains to be seen in terms of what we've got going on. Alex, can you flip me back to radar real quick? There we go. Thank you. All right, so again, here's our storm. Northern reaches of Saline County is the main area of concern at this point. I think if you have or live close to the Missouri River in Carroll County, I think you'll be fine. You might get some gusty winds, maybe a little bit of hail, but it's really across the river into Saline County, east of Grand Pass, near Malta Bend, that we're most concerned for you. Again, here's Highway 41 into Missouri. All right, this is near and north of Marshall. Here's Saline County again. This is all northern Saline County right in through here. The Slater area, again, that circulation is a long ways away from you right now for Slater. That circulation is probably about 10, 15 miles towards your west, maybe 20 miles towards the west of Slater. All right, thank you. About 15 miles right now towards the west of Slater, near Malta Bend. All right, so that's the circulation. No reports of a tornado on the ground. There are storm spotters out there watching that pretty carefully. So my guess would be if something were to come down, all right, we'd get a pretty good confirmation and a pretty good eyeball or two on this. Again, that is a tornado warning. And now I'm starting to see the pink color show up, and we may have something on the ground associated with this near the Malta Bend area. Again, that tornado warning goes until about 7:45, including Grand Pass, Malta Bend, the Marshall area, and Slater, okay? That affects about 14,500 of our viewers. And for those of you who are not familiar with this area, if you take I-70 heading out towards Columbia, you'll be, familiar with some of the exits from I-70 heading northbound towards this general area, including Marshall. This is 65 highway, and there's 41. And that circulation is right in through there. Now, what we've seen, what we've observed so far this evening, is that these circulations, as they spin up, at least in the atmosphere, sometimes don't produce something that actually drops down from the clouds, but sometimes they do. We saw that in Ray County. We had a couple of reports of tornadoes in Ray County earlier this evening during Fox 4 News at 6 o'clock. Those did a little bit of tree damage, a little bit of cornfield damage. So far, no more reports out of that. We've also seen these storms produce a ton of heavy rain, flooding rains in some cases. So they are producing some torrential rain, so be alert for that as well with any of this activity off towards the east of Kansas City. Lots of lightning, as you could tell, with these cells. The circulation is probably wrapping itself up within some of this rain as well, so that adds another little layer of complications to actually trying to spot anything. But for you folks in Malta Bend, along 65, okay, down towards the Marshall area, I want you to go ahead and take cover from this storm. And for those of you just joining us, again, this is out towards the northern reaches of Saline County, where we have this tornado warning that's in effect up until about 7:45 or so. There's Slater. All right, so it technically includes Slater, but we're still about 10 miles away, 10, 15 miles away from the Slater area. The circulation is still very apparent. It may not look quite as tight as it did just a little while ago, but there's definitely something going on there. That would be near and just towards the east of Malta Bend. So you folks in Malta Bend could probably give this about another 5 or 10 minutes, and then you could come out of your safe area. For those of you who live along or close to 65, north and northwest of Marshall, I want you to go ahead and make sure you're in your safe area for at least the next 15 or 20 minutes or so. Norton, Slater, again, Slater is way over towards here. Slater is still roughly about 25 minutes away from that circulation. So if you live in Slater, you still have a little time to kind of get your bearings, to keep an eye on this as it continues to move off towards the east. If you live in the Cambridge area, all right, keep an eye on it as well. You're actually even further east than Slater is. So the circulation is right in through there. And again, this is 65 highway. Here's Highway 41. All right, so this is west of 41, very close, if not just towards the north of 65 highway, just towards the north and west of Marshall. The hope would be that this particular cell continues to move due east, and we haven't seen really much of an indication of any south turning to this cell, so that the worst of its effects if indeed it does go on to produce a tornado, the worst of its effects will pass north of Marshall, Missouri. All right, so if you live in Marshall, you're right on the edge of this tornado warning. If your sirens are going off, that's the reason why. But the hope is that this circulation will pass several miles towards the north of the community of Marshall, Missouri, out towards central and northern reaches of Saline County. Again, for a time reference for you, Norton by 7:35, that's about 13 minutes away. Slater, which is far off towards the east, right around there, that goes until, or that time frame would be around 7:41, and Cambridge, which is right out through there, which is right along the county line, that goes up until roughly 7:53. So again, the circulation itself is right in through there. Alex, are we getting any other reports, any confirmations, anything like that?
We did get a report from a storm chaser on that Malta Bend cell. They did have a live feed of a tornado there.
Okay.
No notable damage seen on the video.
Okay, so we did get a report. How long ago was that report?
That was 7:18
All right,
this evening.
7:18. So about 5 minutes ago, a confirmed tornado associated with this towards the east of Malta Bend. All right, that's why our polygon, if you will, is flashing pink instead of red. When it flashes pink like this, that means that we've got something confirmed, either visually or from radar. And as a result, again, this tornado warning is a valid one. We've got something potentially on the ground east of Malta Bend, near 65 Highway, approaching 41 Highway. And again, there's Marshall. All right, so if you live north of Marshall, and we're only talking maybe a couple of miles, I want you to go ahead and make sure you get yourself into a safe spot and do it right now. This storm is moving eastbound at close to 30 miles an hour, give or take. All right, so it's heading right towards 41 Highway, all right, near and just towards the north of Marshall, Missouri. Slater, you're due in around 7:40. Again, that's a little ways away, so we'll continue to monitor it. But again, for Norton and Slater, pay attention to this. Norton in particular, about 10 minutes away from you, give or take. And that 41 Highway corridor area, all right, that area right in through here, Alex is zooming in tightly for us now. There's your circulation right in through there, okay, near and east of Malta Bend. That's heading right towards 41 Highway. This is going to be very close to Highway Double N, okay, probably just towards the south of Highway Double N, but within, a mile or two of Highway Double N. So if you live around County Road Double N, all right, out towards 41, okay, into Saline County, north of Marshall, I want you to go ahead and take cover from the storm. There are probably more mobile homes out here, okay, than typical type homes. So you folks who live in mobile homes or a mobile home community, if there is a safe room within that community, I want you to go ahead and get to that safe room. Do so right now because your time is starting to run out. Again, this is still west of 41, Highway 41, okay, just towards the north of Marshall. But there's definitely, a couplet right there. Wherever you see these colors contrasting like they are, okay, that's our little circulation right in through there, okay, and that's why we want you folks out towards central Saline County, northern Saline County, north of Marshall, to go ahead and take cover from the storm. The community of Marshall itself is down here, all right, so we're looking at a circulation that is north of the community of Marshall, but there are folks who live out towards 41 Highway, just on the north side of Marshall, all right, so just north of Marshall, I should say. So you folks out towards 41, all right, near Highway Double N, all right, we might want to soon start thinking about Highway C as well, and maybe Highway O, okay, this is all out towards the eastern part of Saline County. All right, I want you folks to get ready to go ahead and take cover. You are under that tornado warning, and that's going to go up until about 7:45. 7:45 is our tornado warning for a good chunk of central and northern Saline County, in particular the northern half of Saline County. I think for you folks in Marshall, this will pass just to your north. We'll keep an eye on some of these other cells, though, that are going on to your south and west. Just because this tornadic part is passing just towards the north of Marshall, all right, we still have this other activity, okay, west of Marshall. So I don't want you folks in Marshall to think everything's just rosy, all right? Not is not necessarily, because you're going to be dealing with this, heavy rains, torrential rains. Some areas may see a quick inch of rain in maybe 15, 20 minutes tops. The atmosphere is just so swollen with moisture right now that it doesn't take much for us to see some real heavy rain. I just got a picture a little while ago from near the Pattonsburg, Missouri area, where a pond was totally empty earlier this morning, and now it's totally filled up with radar estimates and personal estimates of potentially over 5 inches of rain. All right, so this cell is moving along at a quick enough pace that it won't produce 5 inches of rain, but you will still get some localized street flooding, and that probably will include Marshall with this real heavy rain that's moving towards the community of Marshall, Slater, Cambridge, Miami, down towards Mount Leonard, and near and just towards the north of Elmwood. So basically that 65 highway corridor is vulnerable not only to rain, heavy, heavy, heavy rains, but again, we're still watching for the potential of a tornado. If there's anything going on with this, and there was a report about 10 minutes ago of a tornado on the ground with this east of Malta Bend, it's coming right into that Highway 41 corridor north of Marshall. Alex, can we do a little track as far as how far away that is from Marshall, Missouri?
Yeah.
Just so I could get a better idea. Yeah, about 6 miles towards the north and west of Marshall. All right, so if you live in Marshall, this tornadic circulation will pass to your north, but it's close to Marshall. And if you're hearing the sirens, the reason why is Marshall is literally right on the dividing line of this tornado warning that goes until about 7:45. But the circulation itself from this particular part of the storm is passing 6 miles towards the north and west of the city of Marshall. So if you know anybody who lives 5, 6 miles north of Marshall, just towards the south of Highway CC, all right, I want you to make sure that they are taking cover from the storm. An update on the storm timing for you, due in towards Norton by about 7:40. Slater starting to get a little closer around 7:47. That circulation's been going on now for about 15 minutes, and that's one of the longer circulations that we've seen out of all these little circulations that we've seen, that we've been tracking really for the last about hour and a half. This all started out towards central and northern Ray County, east of Knoxville. We also had a tornadic circulation, but no touchdown, up across far southeastern portions of Livingston County, northern Carroll County, and then this thing now that has pushed into Saline County, northern Saline County in particular. And again, that's a pretty good-looking circulation. The greens indicate air particles coming towards the radar site, the reds away from the radar site, so right in through there, again, that's where we're finding our circulation. Report from 7:18, now 12 minutes old, of a tornado that was in progress just towards the east of Malta Bend, and that's associated with that. Again, you can see this is just a big old rain bomb, as I've been saying for this evening. Very, very heavy and torrential rains. Thankfully, it's moving, as opposed to the activity that earlier up across northern Missouri into Daviess County was not moving all that much. We got some rainfall tallies up there in excess of 4 to maybe in some cases 6 inches. I mean, it was coming down, and it was coming down bad up in Daviess County with some flooding up there. Again, this is a confirmed tornado as of 12 minutes ago, east of Malta Bend. The circulation is still very apparent. All right, that looks pretty good. And there's Highway 41 right in through there. We're talking the central portion of Saline County. For you folks out towards Slater, Highway 00, here's Highway N. All right, so north of Marshall by about 5-ish miles, and near and just south of Highway N, that's where our tornadic circulation is, right along Missouri Highway 41, and that's moving due east. So here's Norton. All right, Norton, you're in the path of this at 7:41. You've got 10 minutes. I want you folks in Norton to go ahead, take cover from this storm, because if the intensity and if the couplet and if the rotation maintains itself for only 10 more minutes, and it's got a decent life cycle to it so far, all right, it'll be heading right towards Norton, all right, in Saline County in about 10 minutes or so. So I want you to go ahead and take cover. If you live in a mobile home, I want you to if you do have a safe room within your mobile home community, I want you to go ahead and head towards that right now, all right? Grab what you need, do it quickly, and get out of that mobile home. If you don't have a safe room within that mobile home community, I want you to try your darndest to get into a bathroom or something like that, and just, take cover from the cell. If you live in a home with a basement, I want you to go ahead and get down into that basement, preferably under a sturdy table or something like that, as long as it's underground. If you do not have a basement, I want you to go ahead and get into a bathroom, some sort of interior room with very close walls. If that bathroom is exposed to an outside wall, I want you to go ahead and get something maybe a little bit more on the inside part of your home, just to be on the safe side. And again, here's Missouri 41. There's our tornadic circulation. Alex, any other reports of anything still on the ground with this? We got that report about 15 minutes ago. I want to see if there's anything still on the ground. Alex?
Yeah, nothing really on the ground after that report that you mentioned a while ago, east of Malta Bend, north of 65 Highway. That's where we found that circulation that was attached to the confirmed tornado. Nothing really yet of anything, maybe along Missouri 41, of any additional confirmation of anything still on the ground, but of course still a pretty good circulation showing up there.
Okay, and this warning will continue for about another 15 minutes, and again, 7:33 right now. That tornado warning goes for Saline County. They have dropped the Carroll County part, not a surprise there. That does, again, technically include Marshall, but the circulation itself is going to pass probably about 4, 5, 6 miles just towards the north of the city of Marshall. And again, it's right now, probably right on top of 41 Highway. There are no doubt quite a few spotters that are keeping an eye on this. So I have a feeling if anything was actually on the ground, we would probably be getting reports by now about that, because there are quite a few chasers out here keeping an eye out towards Saline County. A couple of other roads for you in this road network, and again, there's not a lot out in this general area in terms of population, but for Missouri Highway Double N, that circulation is just near or just south of Missouri Highway Double N. All right, so here's Missouri Highway Double N, here's your circulation, but we're talking something only about a half a mile to a mile away. All right, so it's very close to Highway Double N. If you live along or close to Highway O, again, between 41 and Highway O, all right, I want you in this general area, okay, west of Highway O, near and east of 41 Highway, go ahead and take cover. This is Saline County, here's Highway Double C. If you live near Highway Double C, near Highway O, all right, and near Highway 41, take cover from this storm, all right? We're starting now to get closer into the northeast portion of Saline County. The county line is right there, all right, and then it crosses over into Sheraton County, all right, or actually a little further east of there. So again, there's your county line, and that's where our tornado warning stops. So for you folks near 41 Highway, I want you to go ahead and take cover from this storm. That would be just towards the north of Marshall. Alex, give us a broader view. I want to check in with the Metro because I just want to make sure we don't have any thunderstorms around Kansas City. We'll put radar on this for you just to kind of give you an idea. So far, so good. For the heart of Kansas City, we're doing all right. We've got a couple little cells that have just bubbled up right along the Johnson County, Missouri line into Pettis County. Look at how these cells have bubbled very quickly. Near and north of Sedalia. All right, I want to watch that part of the storm just towards the north of Sedalia. All right, it's got sort of a little look that we kind of keep an eye on. So for you folks out towards Cooper County, that's kind of out of our viewing area. But out towards Pilot Grove, all right, that would be north of Otterville and north of Sedalia. All right, let's just kind of keep an eye on what's going on out towards Pettis County. I've kind of got a rule of thumb: when things can happen here, a county away, they could typically happen there as well. So with the activity that's going on now just towards the north of Marshall, and you can see Alex is kind of drawing in along 65 Highway, which has been a hotbed of weather activity for this week between the heavy rains, all sorts of crazy weather out towards 65. In the area that's been, if you remember from the last couple of months, in an area that's been plagued by drought. And now they're getting heavy rains and significant severe weather out there. But we've got a couple of potential circulations, certainly that one north of Marshall. That's the one that we're most concerned about right now. And we're also watching this little area down towards the north of Sedalia. That would be just towards the north of Highway 50. There is no severe thunderstorm warning for this. There is no tornado warning for this in Pettis County. It's just something that we're putting up on the board to kind of keep an eye on for the next few minutes. Of course, the main concern right now is this little area up towards Marshall. Interestingly enough, in the last radar scan, I'm starting to see once again, maybe, just maybe, a weakening of that rotation, a broadening of that rotation. Again, there might be a little something there, right around there. That seems to be the area that we've been watching the most, but it certainly doesn't look near as beefy as it did 10, 15 minutes ago. So that's certainly some welcome news. With that said, though, just to be on the safe side, I don't want you folks in Norton to let down your guard. All right, this is due into Norton here in the next couple of minutes. If you live in Norton, please take cover from this storm. It's only about a minute to 5 minutes away from you. So if you live in the community of Norton, take cover from this storm. If you live in Slater, I want you to go ahead now. We've tried to give you a little bit of extra time, but I want you to go ahead now and take cover from this storm. If you live in Slater, take cover from this storm just in case it maintains its circulation into near the community of Slater. From Slater south is the area that we'll be watching. That would be, I believe that's 240. So that'll be an area that we put on the board to kind of watch here for the next about 15, 20 minutes. And that's right on the edge of our tornado warning that goes up until about 7:45. So the circulation would be right in through there. Haven't had a report of a tornado in the last 20 minutes. Last report came in at around 7:18, all right? But, you know, the circulation is certainly still there, and it is moving towards the Norton area and eventually towards the Slater area over the next, for Norton itself, in the next few minutes. For Slater, this will be approaching probably sometime around 7:47. So if you folks live in Slater, you have just a few more minutes to go ahead and get yourself into a safe spot, interior room, a bathroom, a mobile home community safe room, a lower level of a home or an apartment building, just to be on the safe side. Again, we haven't had a report of anything on the ground in the last 20 minutes, but that doesn't mean there's nothing on the ground. Sometimes the reports take a few extra minutes to get to us. There is just a modicum, perhaps, of some good news with this. It doesn't look like the circulation is quite as intense as it was about 15, 30 minutes or so ago when they initially issued that warning. But again, just to be on the safe side, let's keep Slater in that tornado warning for about another 6 minutes or so. Here's Highway 240. That would be from Slater down towards the east of Marshall. So this localized area right in through here, near Highway O, towards the Slater area, near and south of Highway C, down 240. All right, so if you live in Slater, or if you live within a mile or two or three, within, let's say, 3 miles towards the south of Slater, go ahead and take cover from this storm as it continues to move off towards the east at around 30 miles an hour, give or take. If you live near and west of Highway 41, I think you're now all clear in terms of that tornadic circulation. That circulation now a couple of miles towards the east of Highway 41 into Saline County. The city of Marshall itself is further south, so this is all passing towards the north of Marshall. Here's Slater, as mentioned, the circulation about 5 miles west-southwest of Slater, Missouri. That's into far eastern portions of Saline County, so about 5 miles west-southwest of Slater, Missouri, and the storm itself is moving at around 30 miles an hour. So that's why I want you folks in Slater, go ahead, take cover from this storm, and also for you folks out towards Highway O, take cover from this storm as well, basically from 240 to just east of 41. All right, so they've dropped that tornado warning?
They're dropping it,
All right,
expiring it. Yep.
Great news. All right, so this tornado warning that was in effect for the central and northern portion of Saline County that has now been canceled. We still have other severe thunderstorms going on. Here's a brand new warning for you. This would be for the northern portion, northeastern portion of Pettis County. That just issued. I had a feeling that was going to come down the pike. And that continues off towards Cooper County out of our viewing area as well. So the northeastern portion of Pettis County and the southeastern portion of Saline County also under severe thunderstorm warnings. That'll go up until about 8:30 or so, and that affects close to 11,000 people. The worst of that cell is going to pass just towards the north of Sedalia, and again, perhaps some 1-inch hail, maybe some 60-mile-an-hour winds possible with this cell towards the north of Sedalia. For the metro itself, we're still fine, keeping an eye on things, but so far so good. And you can see this whole broad circulation. All right, this is part of this upper-level wave that's been moving through northern Missouri. Again, you could see all the storms lined up basically near and east of 65 Highway. That tornado warning that was in effect for Saline County, that has now been dropped. Let's send you back to wrestling.